know. Maybe this will work better than Streamlabs. Want to show what I'm showing. No, it's okay. Okay. I mean, we are live right now. Oh, two people. Two people have showed up. Hello. Hello. Hopefully y'all can hear me. I don't know if I think my mic should be working. I think it should be fine. This is my normal setup. And for the people who are in here and wonder why I was so late, I actually was set up for Streamlabs. I had set up because I wanted to I wanted to get better at streaming. I wanted to not just have the basic YouTube streaming, and I was trying to set up Streamlabs, and I just kind of was playing around with it, and I started the stream, and it kept dipping quality, it just kept doing it kept turning off and disconnecting, and I was like, well, forget it. Let me just go back to my old tried and true way of doing things. So we're gonna be here, and I just want to wait maybe for some more people to funnel in. And you're welcome to start, saying what's up, or click that. They don't want me to click that. But yeah, so that's why I was so late, for those who want to know, for those who are interested. Let's see. Now, interesting. Yeah. Should put out a message. I should have got my message out, at least to Twitter, to see if anybody wants to pop in and say hello. I know it's a weird time. I know MegaCon's happening right now. I know it's Friday night, so a lot of things are happening right now. But MegaCon, at the parks, they're doing the Cursed Coconut Club preview for tomorrow. Hello, Kima Dog. Welcome to the stream. Again, I apologize that I was late. I was trying to do this on Streamlabs, but I kept running into issues. So I was like, let me just go back to the tried and true fashion of things. But yeah, that's why it's 7:12 and I'm just starting the stream. Just because, again, I had it set up. I did have it set up. At this point, I'm just going to start every stream late because it's just a thing now, I guess, because I'm literally every time I try to set up a stream, then there's a problem. And every time I just say, I'm just going to hit record or hit go live, so yeah, fun times. First of all, congrats for 2K. Thank you for that. That's part of what this live stream I wanted it to be. And I have some announcement things that if more people are going to pop in, maybe wait for some more people to kind of display them. But thank you for that. It's such a weird thing to and especially for who I'm trying to branch out into other styles of videos, not just HHN videos. I mean, I do want to talk about HHN, but right now also there's not much to talk about. Even in the world of what could be coming, we only know. I mean, I already made a video on that. Has been a boring week overall. Yeah, except for the epic announcement that we got, which I mean that made my whole. I mean, that was I have so many ideas, and I have ideas for Epic Universe stuff coming. Some short form stuff, because I do want to expand outside of just. I want to try some shorts and things like that. I don't love short form content, but there's avenues that I would like to do. In the case of Epic Universe, because there's little things I would love to talk about this, but I don't want to I don't want to make a whole 20-minute video about it because there's not that much to talk about. Yeah, just For me, my week's just been get through, like, really Epic Universe and that announcement, because I was like, I was not able to be like, I wasn't online when the announcement dropped, but I had a feeling something was dropping. So my whole day and those whole like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday have all been around that. Like, I have all this stuff I've been seeing. So like my week's been thrown, and I had to, like, I stayed up really late. Like, I was working on that Epic Universe video, like, pretty much nonstop since I got home. I recorded and I went straight to editing. But yeah, no, I mean, my week's been kind of same old. Okay. So I guess I do want to start by saying, like, I did want to, yeah, of course, yeah, Kima Dog. It's a big deal. Like, I feel like people, I don't know, I don't really like, I don't know if I understand the true volume, because, like, for me, I'm not old enough to remember things like Islands of Adventure or Animal Kingdom, which were the last two, like, big full-scale theme parks open in Orlando, or just, like, really in general, like Disney Universal parks in the States, at least. Those are the last big ones. Islands of Adventure being the latest one, and Epic Universe, like the idea that we're getting a brand new theme park, it still kind of hasn't hit me yet, and I feel like it hit once they made that announcement, once they put that video out, because I was like, damn, like, we are not only getting a new park, it is a year away, something like that, like a year away, or a year and a half, or 2 years, like, at the most, if you're counting, like, all this year and all of next year, if it opens at the end of this end of 2025. It's insane to me, but it feels like something new. It feels like something exciting, and that's what I'm personally really excited for about it. But yeah, so I guess let me just kind of clear everything real quick. So yes, thank you all for 2K, or the one of you who are in here. Thank you. It doesn't matter if it's one person or 100 people. I appreciate it more than I think any of you like truly realize, because, like, for me, I just kind of I deal with a lot with the imposter syndrome when it comes to videos, and, like, I keep, like, considering, like, is this good enough? Like, can this be better? And I get in my head a lot of the times, and it's just a fact. And the fact that, like, because I look at my videos from the perspective of someone who's making them, right? So, like, you're going to look at, if you make anything, or just, like, at your job or whatever, or with school, like, when you look at something you do, you're not looking at it with the same perspective as someone who's looking at it, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, someone who's watching or reading or whatever. So, like, it's a different thing. So just thank y'all for everything. And Big Will, for sure, everything will feel so fresh. Yeah, I feel like it's so weird just to have a new, like, I feel like there's a weird thing that happens, and this might just be me because I'm obsessed with theme parks, but, like, when a new ride opens, like a new attraction opens, there's a lot of, like, it's all clean. There's like a smell sometimes in the case of certain attractions. That's put me in weird YouTuber territory. No, but, like, it's it's like, it's fresh, it's new, it's exciting, but it's also, like, just generally a new thing. Like, there'll be a point where Epic Universe will be open, and we'll be able to just, like, actually walk through it and be able to, like, experience the atmosphere. And I think that is such a wild concept. And, like, because we can look at maps and construction photos and update, like, like theme park stop updates and articles and things like that. We can look at even concept art. But there's a point where it's going to be real. And that's the freakiest thing of all. Like, there's a point where we're actually going to be walking into the park and experiencing it. And I mean, I know there have been a couple comments on my Epic Universe video, like, how is the ticketing going to be? How are they going to manage capacity? Like, what's an opening day going to look like? And I almost kind of want to make a video about that, because, like, I feel like that's kind of an interesting, like, it's an interesting projection, because you're almost like, I feel like with a lot of this stuff, it feels almost like a fantasy draft kind of thing, where you're looking at all of this stuff and you're kind of predicting things that you, like, you can make educated guesses on like, oh, what IPs are popular, what are people going to go straight to, but like you don't know, like, so it's just a weird, it's such a strange thing in terms of that aspect of it, and I'm excited to see, and I'm excited for the next year. Really, it feels almost like for my HHN people, it feels like an announcement season kind of situation. I mean, it's not too far off, but it feels like, or like a speculation season. Like, yeah, we had rumors. Now those rumors are getting confirmed, and now we're kind of looking at it, going, okay, what's it actually going to be like? Like, what are we're speculating about everything, every facet of this park. And so I think that's such a unique aspect, and I think they're like pulling us into with like things like Dark Universe. They're pulling the Horror Nights fans. They're pulling the crowd. They're pulling the Halloween Horror Nights crowd in with Dark Universe, which, I mean, that's a whole thing in itself. I absolutely love Dark Universe, and I can't wait to experience Dark Universe for sure. Kimo Dog, it's so crazy that Epic Universe is not open. Pretty much we're all thinking of what expansions and rides are coming in the future. Yeah, that's a lot. That's something I've really noticed, is like looking at expansion pads and also looking at like phase 2, because like for those who don't know, Epic Universe is like, it's a big plot of land, and even though they're using a lot of it and like the lands are big, it's only like, it won't be completely used. There's still pretty sizable expansion plots. Like, I believe there's one behind Monsters, there's one behind Dark Universe, there's one next to Nintendo, and there's one behind Harry Potter, I believe. Hold on, I for no reason other than for my own curiosity, I have a plot of land here, and yeah, between Super Nintendo and Monsters, behind Monsters, there's one between Super Nintendo and sort of the entrance plaza before you get into Celestial Park, and then a little bit behind Dragons, and between Starfall Racers and Wizarding World. So there's a lot, like every land has room for some kind of expansion. Nintendo, not really, I don't think, because like unless they go that way into Monsters, it's like kind of a Monsters or Nintendo thing, whether they do a big scale, probably Nintendo, because Nintendo is a huge property. But like I feel like How to Train Your Dragon's probably got the least amount, but I feel like there's enough happening. Like, that's the biggest land of the park. So yeah, there's so much potential for it. Let me go in the chat. I know there's some drops in the chat. Barrel House Boys podcast soon, very soon. That's all I'm going to say about that. Yeah, like rumors of Creature of the Dark Lagoon ride, Luigi's Mansion Land, or even a whole new land. Yeah, so right now it's like Creature from Black Lagoon boat ride, which has been talked about forever. I feel like people have been talking about that literally since they announced, or since the rumor was going around that Epic Universe was going to have monsters. And I mean, come on, like make like a Jungle Cruise mixed with pirates, mixed with you know, like a dark ride boat, like almost like Jaws, like that's, and there's no like boat. There's not really many water attractions. I mean, How to Train Your Dragon has some, but that's really it when it comes to like water. And then the Celestial Park has the one like splash pad, but like a water boat or like a flume or something like that, some kind of ride like that. And Luigi's Mansion, make a Haunted Mansion, little shooter dark ride. Oh yeah. Do we know how big the extra land is? I don't know off the top. Oh, actually, I do have it here, because shout out to Tommy Hawkins on Twitter, who has it. So it looks like behind. So the first plot of land from going into the park, you turn left, go towards Super Nintendo World. This is about one acre between Nintendo World and the entrance of Celestial Park. I'm not sure if that's being used for anything. That looks almost like it could be like a shopping, or might be like a back of house thing. I don't know if they would use that for any attractions or any new anything, because it is so small. But between Super Nintendo and Classic Monsters looks to be about 7 acres. So pretty sizable expansion, if you ask me. That's like a mini land. That could be a mini land there. And then behind Classic Monsters looks about like 3.25 acres, if I'm looking at it right. It's what it looks like, 3.25. So enough for another attraction if they just go straight back, like behind the Frankenstein attraction and sort of the main, like where the Wolfman coaster is going to be. That stuff back there That's, I think, where, like, on the opposite side of the Helios, which if they make a connection to the Helios, I know they won't, but if they were to make a connection to the Helios, that would be insane. And then the biggest plot of land for sure, like in the sort of theme park bounds, is between Starfall Racers and Wizarding World, 20 acres. That's bigger than any of the lands here. So if they wanted to make another big Harry Potter mention to Ministry of Magic, or if they wanted to just do something completely different, which, I mean, I'm opting for something completely different. The one thing that I heard was a rumor at one point. I don't know where it stopped and started. I don't know if this is like an old thing. I want to say I heard about them talking about bringing Waterworld to this park. That could be me making that up. I mean, if so, bring Waterworld to Epic Universe, because it's such like a popular show over in Hollywood and really every other Universal Park. Orlando, we don't have it. Why don't we have Waterworld? But yeah, so that's what we're looking at with land sizes. So 20 acres is the biggest one, and that's pretty sizable considering how big the. Hold on, let me pull up the actual. I should have done this from the beginning. I am. Sometimes I'm not paying attention, but I'm gonna go and I'm gonna grab this this graphic and I'm gonna put it in the chat because of actual. I don't know where did I know it's here. I know I had it saved because I mean I obviously saved it to my phone. Here we go. Because there was a big thing of like, because there was a big thing that went out today of if how big is Epic Universe compared to Disney, and it's not. This is like kind of a more of a breakdown. So here it is. That's what I saw. That's what I'm basing it off of. From what I'm seeing and from that breakdown, and that looks like a pretty like. Pretty good breakdown. Harry, so Lord of the Rings at Epic Universe. That's a big one that a lot of people have talked about. I don't know why I just completely decided that. But Lord of the Rings at Epic Universe would be insane. I think they could do it. Although my one worry about Lord of the Rings at Epic Universe is the fact that it is. You're doing a lot of medieval stuff in this park, and I know that doesn't make a difference because Harry Potter is different from How to Train Your Dragon is different from Lord of the Rings. It's all different, but when you have like not similar, but like I feel like Super Nintendo World is Super Nintendo World. That's its own thing. Dark Universe is Dark Universe. That's its own thing. How to Train Your Dragons has sort of the fantasy component, but it's like a kid's like directly like a children. Not okay. I'm gonna say that. I'm saying this as a fan of How to Train Your Dragon, but it's like it's a family. I guess a family property. I don't want to say just kids because I don't think animation's just for kids. Family property. Okay, that's all a lot more accessible than something like maybe Universal Monsters or even Harry Potter. But Harry Potter is quite accessible too. But then you have Harry Potter, which is like I feel like Lord of the Rings is something like. I know a lot of people would consider this sacrilege. I would have loved if they put Lord of the Rings on Islands of Adventure. I feel like that's before. I feel like before Zelda, that was like a rumor at one point. I don't know if that's true or not, but I feel like it is. Like I feel like Islands of Adventure would be the perfect park to have Lord of the Rings. In terms of just the scenery, the aesthetic. I mean, give me that in Lost Continent and take the land here in Epic Universe and build the Zelda expansion. Like I would like that'd be like if it was me, if I was the lead head whoever's creating this, along with Wonka. Would have been funny. What do you mean by that, Chemo Dog? I'm a bit confused. Maybe it's me. But yeah, no, I feel like I don't know. But I do kind of going back to the previous point of like Islands of Adventure, Epic Universe is such a big like thing. Like we've been waiting so long to get news and updates and something official. And they're like, okay, we gave you something official. We gave you concept art. We gave you a fly through. We gave you a very beautiful video, by the way. I'm wearing the shirt to pay tribute to Steven Spielberg, who was in that video. A beautiful video. And everybody's like, okay, so what's phase 2 look like? I don't know. I just think that's funny. I'm not saying that's bad or anything. I just think it's funny. Harry, I remember Islands of Adventure being a land based on books, so it would be perfect there. I feel like I 100% agree with you, and I feel like because people kind of still like, I think that's kind of lost on Islands of Adventure, if I'm being honest. They kind of did that once they put, for me, it was more Kong. Like, a lot of people say it was with Harry Potter. Harry Potter's based on books, yeah, but I feel like it's like you can kind of say that with Jurassic World too, like, or Jurassic Park, because it's like it's based on the books, but it's more based on the film version of like what the movie presented for Jurassic Park. And I feel like that's the kind of the same argument for Harry Potter. It's like, well, Harry Potter is based on a book, yeah, but it's based on the movie version of the book. Like, it's not like purely based on just the books alone. It's based on the Warner Brothers film franchise based on the books. However, I do think that that's still kind of there with the roots with, and I feel like that's the thing with Lost Continent. Like, if they were to get rid of Lost Continent, bulldoze it to the ground, or keep some of it and just retool, like keep the show buildings and stuff and retool sort of the exterior theming, you could really do a beautiful small Lord of the Rings. Like, that's one thing with that, is that it is kind of small for Lord of the Rings. I feel like you would need this big scale. But I feel like it would be very poetic, considering Lord of the Rings pulls a lot from like sort of stories of old, and the Lost Continent is literally stories of old. It's like myths and legends, and Lord of the Rings kind of fits in that. So I do think, Harry, I do think you're onto something with that one. I'm wondering if they'll do tickets for it, if it'll be a separate ticket from Islands and Studios. So these are just my predictions. These are just my sort of like bullet points of like what I think the ticketing is going to look like. For one, I have a hard time seeing them selling express and kind of incorporating it in like an annual pass situation. I do think it'll be separately. It'll be separately ticketed, like all the parks. Like, I feel like they'll have a like how they have a single park ticket, then they also have like a 2-park ticket. I have a feeling they might have a 3-park ticket and then a single day ticket just for Epic. I've heard people kind of say, what if they do price by each land? I don't know, because I feel like that would get very complicated very quickly, and you'd start to enter almost like Disney territory of complication. That's, I think, what Universal, they have to kind of go a little bit in that way. Reservations, I think, are absolutely going to happen for the first few months, maybe even the first year, because this is going to be a hugely popular park. Everybody's going to want to come here, and I feel like you have to kind of go, but you can't go too far off the deep end to the point where you become that, because the whole, not saying that, like, obviously I enjoy the Disney parks, and I've said that before. It's like, I never want my channel or any of these videos to be like, I hate Disney. But one thing that it will say that has turned a lot of people off, I don't mind it, but I know it's turned a lot of people off, is the idea of the reservations. And like, I have to make a reservation. And I mean, like, yeah, I did it before. But like, now it's just to the point, like, I think the reservation system's kind of dumb, like the way they use it at Disney. At this point, because for COVID, you can kind of justify and be like, oh, well, it's COVID. It's like whatever, it's managing. But now it's not. Anyway, that's a whole side tangent. But my point is saying, at the time, Universal was marketing themselves on the idea of not being Disney and being, you can just come in here. You don't need a reservation. And I feel like that's part of the allure, and that's still kind of the allure of, like, for me, I have an annual pass for Universal. I can go to Universal tonight. I don't know if it's open, but if it was open, I can go right now, and be able to go right in. I'm going to Universal tomorrow. I don't have a reservation made. I'm just going to drive to City Walk and park my car and go into the park. So it's that idea of, like, they're going to have to dip a little bit. I feel like they got to. But I don't think they're going to go too far. So that can be an interesting. If anybody else has any opinions on that, please leave it in the chat, because that is a whole conversation. And this Barrel House Boys, I'm guessing the other Barrel House Boy, Mr. Losh TV. For those who don't know, we have a podcast, Barrel House Boys podcast. Me and Losh TV talking about theme parks. Yeah, sorry, Losh, if I revealed the secret. But how would you feel about themed hotels for Epic? Nintendo, monsters, etc. So I think it's a great idea. Nintendo would just print money at that point. Like Nintendo is becoming Universal's new Potter in the terms of like Potter, before all the complications with the film series and with JK and everything, Potter has two lands. It's kind of I'm not saying it's run its course, obviously, because they're doing a new one in Epic Universe, but Nintendo's the new hotness, right? Potter maybe not being old and busted, but Nintendo is the new hotness. For those who know what I'm talking about, let me know in the chat. But anyway, for those who get the reference, but I think hotels like Nintendo Hotel, just kind of like almost like sort of like the Toy Story Hotel I'm thinking over in Japan, like just a hotel with themed Hotel Mario. You're saying, yeah, something like that. Like, don't make it a super, because I feel like you can have a range of themed experiences. You can go to a hotel and just have it be a hotel with some theming touches. That's cute. Nintendo monsters, I feel like you can definitely do that. Maybe How to Train Your Dragon. I don't see the market for that one though. Just saying. Sorry if any How to Train Your Dragon fan in the chat, but definitely Nintendo and monsters. I could see them pulling like the Horror Nights crowd for sure. I mean, I'd love to stay at a haunted castle, not really like a spooky castle. I'd love that. I absolutely love like Dracula's castle, and you have like all this like red, like almost like the Monsters Cafe. For those who've been to the Monsters Cafe, Dracula section, but as a hotel room. Anyway, but the one that I think that has always had the potential for me for being this crazy is Harry Potter. I feel like if you were to do a Harry Potter experience like the Star Cruiser, now people are going to say, oh, no, don't do that. But like a highly themed Harry Potter where you go to Hogwarts, you can get sorted, you can eat in the castle, you can roam around, you can do maybe that Quidditch VR thing they talked about a long time ago. That could be a fun little thing in the hotel. Like living out your Hogwarts experience for like a week, and you can literally be what I've always said is like this idea of doing a like a Hogwarts hotel, but also like a Triwizard Tournament hotel. Like make it where you are coming in as sort of a foreigner, as a different, you're not from Hogwarts necessarily. That can be like a lore reason why you're there. Almost like the other schools, how they come in. You're coming in to spectate the games or participate in the games, and that can be part of your experience. You can have this like every day is a new trial, so you have like 3 days worth of trials, and then you can have maybe the Yule Ball, almost like how they have on cruises. They have like the special night, dress up night, things like that. Like so much potential. That's honestly, I feel like that's more of a name your price item than Star Cruiser. Like, but I feel like they would see Star Cruiser and be like, yeah, we can't make it too expensive because Star Cruiser isn't around anymore. But I do think that has so much potential, and I know you're saying DreamWorks Hotel altogether. I think that's also a lot of fun too. Make it almost like a elevated version of like the Nick Hotel or the Cartoon Network Hotel. Like have these characters, have it be themed, or like the Legoland hotels. That's a perfect, I think, example. Are the Legoland hotels. For those of you who haven't seen, they have these really highly themed hotels. I know they have one in New York, and they have one here, although I've never seen it because I have not been to Legoland in a long time. But they have these really highly themed hotels that are almost like, they're cute. They're for kids or for families, but they're also like nice experiences. Like they're like, it's just well themed. And I think you could do that with DreamWorks. I think you can do that with Nintendo for sure, if they wanted to make that blend. So hotels, I mean, I love it. They have a lot of room. So a lot of room. That depends on the direction though. And that's also if it's a Lowe's thing, because Lowe's, it's an outside company. I don't know if Grand Helios and the other two are like in-house hotels, like how Disney does. They have their in-house, or they have the Lowe's third party. Lowe's probably would be blocking that stuff. That's probably why we haven't seen a Harry Potter hotel yet, if I'm being honest. Let me go back up here. I could definitely see me Hogwarts Hotel. Yeah, for sure, Harry. I'm indifferent on Potter's Land. I wish they had another AP, but I get it. At least I liked the Y on the video reveal. Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people are kind of indifferent on it, and I get it for a multitude of different reasons. totally understandable. It's not like a thing that I'm like, oh, you're wrong for not being excited or for being excited. It's a complicated thing, and I think everybody's got, and not even just outside of the real world stuff, but just in the fact of like we've had Diagon Alley and Hogsmeade, and now this is the third one, and I believe she was, from what I've read, she's been contracted to do 3. So that was the idea of like why they even did this in the first place, because you're kind of running out of ideas. The only place that I think they could use for like an attraction, and I feel like you'd have to get a lot. You have to be very creative with it. I loved like some sort of shrieking shack, like almost like a haunted experience, because it's like the most haunted building in Britain, and as it goes in the series. So maybe something like that with the werewolves and the sort of other creatures. What I've always wanted, some kind of like dark creatures, like almost like a opposite of Hagrid's, where Hagrid's are like the fun creatures for the most part. So but that's really the only thing, and other than the Ministry, which I think if everything lines up with what we were thinking it's going to be, I think it's going to be fun. But I think the land itself is definitely going to be niche. I think theming it to Fantastic Beasts, I get why, because you can't really, if you just did the British Ministry, you'd have a difficult time making multiple attractions and shopping and dining and everything like that. So I get theming it to Paris. I mean, I liked the sort of setting in the Fantastic Beasts series. I think it could be fun for a land, and I think it could kind of be an interesting comparison to Paris and Epcot. But yeah, totally understand sort of the indifference on Potter. But yeah, I mean, I think if I'm doing a ranking, like a hype list ranking, there's 5 lands. So Dark Universe, just purely for the scenic value plus the monsters, because I love the monsters. I'm honestly going to say Celestial Park, and that's going to be really weird because it's the hub. It's not like the big IP, but I kind of love that. I love that it's this very unique setting. They have a lot of storytelling potential that they can do little things sprinkled throughout, maybe some Easter eggs, some connective tissue, make it all work, make it all make sense. I think that's what they're trying to do here, create like a lore, create almost like a canon for this park, and also just create a cool vibe. And I love the park vibe. So Dark Universe, Celestial Park. I'm going to put right now Ministry of Magic. I'm going to put then Super Nintendo World, and that might go up. For those of you who don't know, I'm actually venturing out to Universal Hollywood in 2 weeks from today. Actually, 2 weeks from tomorrow, we're going to the park. But 2 weeks from today, I'm flying out to California. So for the first time, I'm going to be seeing Super Nintendo World, and I might change my opinion. It seems kind of low, but I think I might change my opinion once I actually see the land. I do want to do, the Yoshi People Mover is really making it for me at Epic specifically compared to the one in Hollywood and in Japan. But the Donkey Kong Coaster, once we learn more about that. So right now it's at 4, just plus, just like it could go up, it could go down. I mean, I don't think it'll go down. I think it'll stay at 4 or it could go up. We will see. And then Dragon at the bottom for me. I do not dislike this. I do not dislike this idea. I think it's fun. I love the How to Train Your Dragon series. I think it's a beautiful series of films, and I'm excited to see how it translates to land. I think it has a lot of potential. And the one other property that I would love is the Kung Fu Panda. I know they did a land in my Kung Fu Panda lovers, so I would love to see I wish they would have done that somewhere in like a full land with, I don't know, some kind of big attraction. But anyway, that's a wish list thing. I'm gonna go back. It's funny to have Paris in the park with the monsters like Eric and Quasimodo. Yeah, it calls back to mind Unmasked for sure. Celestial Park caught me off guard. It is so gorgeous. It is so beautiful there in Celestial Park. Have a fun trip. Can't wait to see you ride Jurassic World and the Champ Tour. Yes, those are 2 priority. I have 5 priorities at Universal Hollywood, and we're gonna make it happen. We're gonna make it happen. And those are 2 of the priorities for sure. Drac got the Riz. Yeah, Drac is. I'm curious to see what they do. Are they going to go with like a Riz Lord Drac, or are we going to get like? Because kind of Bela Lugosi was kind of like the Rizzler. I don't know if you talked about this, but any theories on how Universal will handle the 2 different decades of the Wizarding World and Ministry of Magic? So I think there are. I was considering making like a short on this because I feel like there's one big theory that I'm thinking about, and that is the fact that because on the portal for this, the symbol for Wizarding World is not a wand. I mean, it has the Elder Wand at the top, right? Elder Wand to go down, which is really that's an interesting. The Time Turner is the icon, exactly. Backlog Builder. That's exactly what I'm going for. Is the idea of the Time Turner being used as sort of the time travel mechanism, or yeah, I think that's definitely something. And or if it, because I feel like there's going to be some component, so in-universe component of within Celestial Park. Why are we going to all these worlds? Like I get we have portals, and that's great. But why and what are they like? Like, are we at like a nexus point? Like, are we like at like a multiverse like paradise thing? Like what are we doing here? Maybe I'm reading way too far into it, but that's what I do on this channel. I read it too far into theme parks, so that might be something to look forward to. But yeah, the Time Turner for sure, and especially because the Ministry, I believe the Ministry has to like ordain Time Turner usage. That's how it is in the books, especially is like I believe you have to get Ministry approval to use the Time Turners. So Ministry of Magic, we have two Ministries of Magic. They have their own Time Turners. Maybe that's how we're getting to and from moments. But I don't know if the Time Turner can go forward. I'm not sure. Those are some questions if you have any Potterheads in the chat that know those specific answers. But I do think that is going to be the key. I think the Time Turner is going to be the key. And to see how heartbroken we are with the special effects show and ET. Yeah, I know. I like the special effects show, the one that the one I was like doing some research on when I was doing the Future of Universal video and I was looking into Fast and Furious is the sort of the Castle Theater, the former Castle Theater, which had the special effects stage, which is a decades old, both of those decades old attractions. And that's why I say they have to do that Fast and Furious coaster right, because you're knocking down historic, I mean, the sign, I didn't even talk about in the video, like the Universal sign being around forever. Ever. Let's go back. Great Scott. Yeah, Great Scott for sure. Yeah, Time Turner. Supposed to be maybe some Back to the Future Easter eggs on the Starfall races is what I've heard from what they said in the press release, I believe. So we got time travel. Time travel, I think that's happening. I think the portal's meant to teleportation entrances to the lands as planets. So you think we're going to planets? Interesting. That would be interesting, to, especially when considering Nintendo, because they have like the planet thing in Galaxy, Super Mario Galaxy. I'm not a Nintendo person, so don't like. I might say something wrong. I'm trying to say the things that I know, but I don't. It's a Super Mario Galaxy has like the planet component. Maybe that's what it is. Harry's has a couple comments here about like the rise of manga. Sorry, said it right. An anime in the West. You think we could see any of the Universal Japan's attractions come to Orlando, like Jujutsu Kaisen, Attack on Titan, and One Piece? And then there's also another Attack on Titan comment here, a lot like Transformers. So yeah, I wonder, because I feel like this was kind of the talk when Demon Slayer was rumored for HHN last year. Was like, what's the extent of anime's popularity in America with Universal? Like, what kind of faith do they have in that project to make full attractions for it that aren't like overlays? Because and correct me if I'm wrong, I believe some of those attractions are overlays. I know they do have a lot of anime presence in Japan for sure, but to build full attractions here in the American parks, I feel like they would have they would have to get like the big ones. Like I feel like Attack on Titan's a good one, and One Piece for sure. Like I mean, I know they sell anime merch in the Men in Black store. So for those who don't know, it is a Men in Black merch store. They sell anime stuff, but yeah. So I'd be curious what the sort of appeal is in terms of like, again, building full things. Maybe that's a far future. I'm talking into the 2030s if they do that. Because I feel like the next decade's pretty full with stuff. Both in the existing parks and with Epic. I'm curious to see more cosmic representation at Super Nintendo, like the Galaxy games. Oh, brother, like a Galaxy game. like a Galaxy, like I'm thinking like almost like a Star Tours, like a newer version of Star Tours, like a better, like more updated version of like a Star Tours kind of ride. Like I know they're trying not to do screen simulators, maybe something, I don't know, maybe like Star Tours, but like I don't know, something like that. Like doing like a big Galaxy ride would be very fun. I don't know if they would do it because of the room and because of the popularity of that, but I mean, seeing some of that explored in some fashion would be really great. Maybe in a like a restaurant, or maybe that could be the hotel. Maybe it's Mario Galaxy Hotel. Think about that one. GGK was overlay of Shrek. Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought some of them were overlays, if not all of them were overlays. So that's what I'm saying. Like maybe if they overlay, I don't know if we were saying like overlay something like Transformers, but I feel like that would be a really expensive overlay because they have like built-in set pieces. Transformers overall is pretty easy to manage, but yeah, I don't know. I don't see where because the thing is, like, I would say something like Shrek, right? Like an attraction that's kind of sitting, being unused, but I don't. They're not trying to have many of those anymore. They're trying to use all their room because they don't got a lot of room here in Florida. Question about HHN: how do you think the event will handle the monster design in their annual monster houses with the redesigns at EU? So, I think. And this is going to be, and this is not like speculation. It's more of me just like thinking because like this is opening in 2025. Now they dropped the summer from the sort of opening time frame, so it's just 2025. So my thinking is it's either opening earlier or later. Hopefully earlier, possibly later, if they want to fine tune everything. So my thinking is if they open earlier, if they open this Epic Universe in like early 2025, I think we could see the sort of swan song of monster houses this year. And they're going to maybe use like, because the Frankenstein's monster design is pretty close to the one from HHN. And honestly, the Victoria Frankenstein character almost reminds me a lot of how they did the Bride in Bride of Frankenstein Lives. It's sort of like this mad scientist herself who's creating the creatures. That's kind of the Victoria Frankenstein story, at least from what we know. And that was kind of how they did Bride in that house. So I'm thinking like, and the designs I think are fairly close. I think they're a little more stylized, and maybe that's just concept art. Maybe it is a little closer to what we have at HHN, at least for the costumes more than like the masks. But I think we're going to get our big swan song house either this year or next year. I'm more leaning on this year because people are kind of tired of the monsters. If I'm being honest, I like them. I love the houses, but I know a lot of people are getting kind of tired of them at HHN. They've seen them over and over for the past 5 years. This will be the 5th year of monsters. It's, we've seen kind of everybody. And I know everybody's like, oh, Creature. Murdy says, oh, we're not going to do Creature. He put that on Twitter, like, oh, we don't have really the budget to do that. So I don't know. But I do think, regardless of what happens this year, regardless of what happens with Creature and with any of the original takes, I think they're going to try to mold them. I think they're going to try to mesh them in a way, or just say this is another Universal collab house or Universal Monsters collab house, and it's just a different layer. It's just a different design. It's the same kind of characters, and that's I think what they're trying to do with Epic. So I think they're going to do something to tie it in with Epic for sure, and kind of close the chapter of monsters. It did its job. It got people hyped for Universal. It brought the new, brought fans in, fans that were coming in from 2019. So what? Stranger Things in 2019 and last year, things like The Weeknd and Beetlejuice and all like the big grabber IPs. Okay, draw the people in. All those years had monster houses, and those monster houses became popular. So people that would have never cared about monsters, because they were at HHM, because they were doing those other houses, and monsters was just kind of like, it was there. It's like, hello, we're here. Brought those people in. I mean, Legends Collide won House of the Year in 2022. So it's that idea of like, I think it won House of the Year. I said that pretty confidently. I'm pretty sure it won House of the Year. But either way, it was just a very loved house. It was a very loved house at that year's event. Bride of Frankenstein Lives, was one of the sole survivors of COVID. So, it got a lot of people interested. So I think they did its job. It was fun. It's new houses, all kinds of good stuff, but it was also marketing too. So I think that's my 2 cents. A Rosalina meet and greet. I think that'd be fun. I think that they could do a Rosalina meet and greet. I think if they have more room, like especially in that small Super Nintendo World plot that's not big. It's just kind of it's small. It's not big. The one that's between the entrance and the portal, maybe it's like connected. So that could be like a meet and greet spot where they have new characters, because I'm 100% sure they're going to bring some kind of Donkey Kong meet and greet. Because you have to have Donkey Kong, right? You have Toad already. You have Peach. You have Mario. You have Luigi. Why don't we have some rotating characters? Bring the other Mario characters to life. I think Rosalina would be fun. Falling in love with the monsters houses. Yeah, I mean, I love them. They're great. I think they're a lot of fun. They're very stylish for sure. And then I'm okay with the monsters. Yeah, I love the monsters, but I'm also okay with they end. Make room for another property that they want to. I don't know, like maybe some other character. I don't know if there's any other characters in the Universal Library that they want to evolve and do like a series like that. They don't really have anything like. Do we think HHN will have any presence at EU? And a Case of Quackers says, hey, Case of Quackers. Do we have any presence at EU? I don't think so. I don't think, especially not right away. I think that because based on what they're doing here, they're really trying to refine the brand. And I'm saying this in a way that's like you saw that. I mean, I'm hoping everyone here saw the video, the Epic Universe preview video, and the sort of the press release, all the concept art, the way they're kind of presenting this park doesn't scream we're going to have characters and big sets running around this park. Just saying, like, I also just don't know if they will have, they have the room, like in terms of like, it's a big park, but everything seems like there's stuff. Like it seems like there's stuff everywhere. It doesn't seem like they got a lot of room to build houses, to put scare zones, to do anything, unless they do some back of house stuff or they do new. But I don't really see them doing that. I think Epic Universe, because I see Queso Quackers is talking about islands of having HHN. Epic can be the park open late for families. Maybe we'll get Universal on islands again. I think that's more of a possibility than Epic Universe getting Halloween Horror Nights. That they can maybe use parts, because there's parts of Islands of Adventure that are prime for Halloween Horror Nights. I mean, they were prime for Halloween Horror Nights when they did it, and they're prime now. I believe the Carnage Warehouse is still there. If they're not going to, depending on what they do with Lost Continent, I mean, that's a whole land. I don't know what their plans are, but Sinbad Theater, it's a pretty big theater. They want to add stuff. Island's working good for scare zones in some cases, because I know Seuss, they're weird about it. Marvel, they're weird about it, and Wizarding World. So you kind of have to have like, it would have to be a condensed event. They can't do a full scale HHN and Islands, but both parks, especially opening that pathway, maybe doing like a Field Screams big scare zone between the two. If they were to do that again, that would be a lot of fun. I have a feeling that with the Monsters game, families will be less inclined to enter that portal. Yeah, I feel like that's just made for us. I feel like that's more like, and I'm not saying that like, because there are monster kids. I mean, I grew up loving sort of like old movies and classic movie monsters and stuff. And I think, I mean, little kids, I feel like definitely Nintendo and How to Train Your Dragon, right? I think those are going to be the big things. And that's what I love about this park, is that I feel like everybody has a thing. It's not like, oh, people go to Universal and they say, oh, there's no big roller coasters here. There's no big like Mummy and Rocket. And then it's all like Simpsons and Harry Potter and Minions and all that stuff. Like, I feel like you have a good sort of balance of, you have some thrill with, Starfall Racers. You have the Werewolf Coaster. You have maybe the Ministry of Magic ride. I don't think that'll be a thrill ride necessarily, but I think, it'll be like a more of a general audience. And then you have sort of like dark rides, and you have these things, are the Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong is a prime example of like a medium thrill, I'm guessing, or like a family coaster. So I think that's a lot of what it is. So I do think that it won't necessarily appeal to kids. I feel like they're kind of doing it in a way that everybody has something, but not everything is for everybody. I think that's my general thought process on this. Just the concept art alone gave me the shakes, and I love horror. Yeah, I think that it is a really interesting I think it looks really cool. It is really. Oh shoot! Sorry, my chair is so squeaky. I had to reposition myself. Anyway, but no, I think the horror concept art or the Dark Universe. I almost said Horror Unleashed. That's in Vegas. The Dark Universe concept art is something that is really interesting. I think it is one of the more interesting aspects because they did give us a little bit. They gave us the designs, right? They gave us the castle, gave us the portal. They give us a lot, and I think it'll definitely be impacted. My thing has always been like, how will that look during the day? Because obviously at night it's going to look awesome. It's going to look amazing because it's night. It's horror. It's dark universe. But during the day, I wonder how much of that's going to be lost, or if there's going to be a way to keep it. Like maybe they put fog in the streets or something. Like they kind of do like a little bit of HHN style where they keep it creepy without making it. They don't really have the room to do the darkness. Because for me, I was like at one point I was like, why don't they have like a big, like what do you call it, like covered land, but obviously it's too big to put inside a building. But I mean, that would be pretty. Then you can manage everything. Way back up here. We have some talk about Nightmare Fuel. Do we think we'll lose the show? And 3 years. So okay. So Nightmare Fuel. I mean, I like Nightmare Fuel. I do enjoy it. I do enjoy Nightmare Fuel. I think it's a really fun show. I didn't regrettably, I didn't see the first 2 years. Last year was the first time I ever saw it, and it's a lot of fun. Yeah, it is a spectacular show for sure. I think it is sort of like I was talking about Waterworld, but it is almost like kind of like our answer to Waterworld in terms of Halloween Horror Nights. It's like Halloween Horror Nights version of Waterworld. And I know they have that. They had Slaughter World and they had the Purge Show, but I feel like in the same idea of like these crazy special effects, you're like, how do they pull that off? Great, performers, like absolutely like the most talented performers. The Fuel Girls, they're awesome. The music is fun. It's very memorable. And it's just like it's an electric atmosphere. People get into Nightmare Fuel, and I feel like that's what kind of makes it almost like HHN's Waterworld. So it'd be kind of sad to see it go. But again, just like Bill and Ted and the other shows that came before it, we'll see something new. Would you rather have a creature house or an atomic monsters house? A creature, mole man, metal, and mutant. Okay, I don't know, Losh, if you're still in here, but I feel like this is definitely a question that has been talked about. No, but I would love sort of an atomic monsters house. I would love you know what? No, I don't want an atomic monsters house. I want an atomic monsters scare zone. Because I feel like you could really do, like, take like a 1950s sort of town and I mean, I guess it could work as a house too, but like almost like a Vamp 55, but like not vamps, obviously. Have like the different move, like the mole people, the metalumines. I was like do like some mention of like something like the Blob or like these like 50s, like the space ape, right? Space, like the giant like creature, monster ape or something like that. Like these ridiculous kind of movie monsters that are awesome in like a really fun way. Doing that in a scare zone would be awesome, or in a house would be a lot of fun. A creature, I would love to see like a super serious dark jungle, like Jungle of Doom, but put Creature of the Black Lagoon in it. Would be a lot of fun. I feel like due to monsters being the least likely to be the least popular, it'll be the least like the expansions, which sucks. I think Dark Universe, Harry, I do think so, but I also think Dark Universe is going to strike a chord with the fans. I think from what I've seen, Dark Universe for the fans is the hot item. Not just for me, not just for the other Horror Nights fans, but for I guess just the universal fandom at large. Everybody loves those monsters, I guess, to like see the land. Mostly because it's kind of almost like an original. Of course, we've seen Potter, we've seen Nintendo in California, and How to Train Your Dragon's fun, but it's not necessarily for everybody. But Universal Monsters, I feel like has that appeal of like it's classic characters. I mean, well known, well loved characters. I don't know if that's really true, but I could see it being the least popular, like in terms of like attendance wise. Although no one can really say. I should say. I love Lost HN. Yeah, shout out to Losh. Big fan of Losh. With the Last of Us house last year, there was one house I had on Call of Duty Zombies. Am I alone on this? Okay, that is an interesting one because I feel like there's so many interesting ways you can do that. Do I think it would ever actually happen? Unfortunately, no. I don't think that it would actually happen. But if they, let's say, if we were to be developing a house right now and it was to actually happen, I think you could do almost like a Slaughter Cinema, like switching between like different areas, different maps. You could do a Nuketown one. You can do what's the one from Black Ops 3? Wasn't like a noir, almost like Borster. Maybe something like Connection. I don't know. But almost like a Boris Schuster noir kind of style. You could like switch between the different aesthetics. I'm not a huge Call of Duty fan. I don't really know that much about it. I've only played a few of the games and a long time ago. But yeah, I think that if they do an anthology house, could be a lot. Shadows of Evil. That's what it was called. It was something like that. It was like that noir zombie. That was my favorite one because I love that aesthetic. But yeah, although Newtown's a lot of fun. Yeah, I think you do different eras. Could be a lot of fun, like an anthology. It's unfortunate Evil Dead Rise didn't work out. The movie was pretty frightening. That's the one thing. I'm pretty sad about Evil Dead Rise. And I hope it comes at one point to Orlando. I'm not counting on it, but it would be something a lot of fun because I know Hollywood got it, and it looked like a lot of fun. And I know a lot of people who commented on that video, the What's Coming to HHN video, said the Evil Dead Rise house was a lot of fun. So I'll have to take the word for it because I don't know if I'm ever going to see one. I want Doom as a house before they do Demon Slayer Hazbin Hotel. That would break me. Doom, I know. Chemo Dog, I feel like you've said Doom a few times in the chats before. Definitely. I feel like that could be a lot of fun. I think there's so many video games, so many video games that have potentials to be houses. We've talked about video game houses before, but I feel like there's so many. I need the Megan Dance Horde as one. I'm processing this comment right here. I need the Megan Dance Horde as Wednesday Addams. Now, okay, I'm not someone who hates Wednesday. I don't. But I don't know if you think you know what that would do to Horror Nights. Like if they were to have a Wednesday like mini like dance zone. Ooh, that would be, forget Five Nights at Freddy's, forget whatever else is rumor. I mean, the big properties, like forget those shooters, like Wednesday, that would be it. It'd be like, it'd be successful for sure. I wouldn't mind seeing a Wednesday house. I would love to see like an Addams Family house, like just a traditional Addams Family OG. You could do it like the black and white show. You could do it like the cartoon, like the movie, the newer movies. You can do it like the original, like the Christina Ricci, like 90s movies. Addams Family would be a lot of fun. It was epic, incredibly loud. HHN Hollywood, it's much more of an intense event. You'll come down, let me know. You'll see. I'm trying to go to HHN Hollywood at some point soon. I don't know if I'm going to be able to go this year because I don't know if it's going to line up. I would love to, but yeah, whenever I do get to HHN Hollywood, y'all will know. Trust me. But yeah, I think that going back to sort of the Wednesday, I'm still thinking about that because so many people be so mad. People be so pissed off if they did that. I'm just thinking of all of the backlash that like Megan got when Megan was coming to the event. Like Megan in general, when it was like talked about like, oh, Megan might be coming, maybe get a house. When that was happening, and then the zone. But yeah, the Wednesday dance. Yeah, I mean, I think, well, I'm trying to remember how it is because she does it in like the high school, right? Like the high school, the Megans were awesome. I started learning their schedule. It was funny because I went to Blumfest. I did a video on Blumfest. Laura Sauls was there, and she made a comment about Megan's and the fact that they purposely didn't tell anybody where they were going. And I saw the Megans once. Opening weekend. That was the first time I saw the Megans. I put it on video. I filmed the whole thing. I had to cut it for copyright reasons. And I had to like overlay the music for copyright reasons. But I saw them one time and I filmed it, and that was that. And I may have seen them taking pictures. I might have seen them just kind of like walking in or out of a set. But Absolutely. Like like you would think Megan was like a star of the event. You would think that like and that's why when people like Megan should have a house this year, I wouldn't be mad at it. I mean, obviously I think the I think it's going to be FNAF. I think we've talked about that before. I think FNAF is going to happen as far as Blumhouse, but um, I do think that Megan, if they were not to do FNAF, if we were not to do FNAF, Megan would be a perfect one to pair with something else. And that's that. But yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing Megan in the house. I'm not sure why some Disney hardcores are pooping Epic Universe. We got their cup. Yeah, thank you, Keith. That's literally what I'm saying. Is like, I don't hate either one. I want Disney to be better with announcing stuff. I want them to be clearer with what they're doing. And I want it just to be good. I want everyone to be good. I want everybody to have cool stuff at the parks. Because I feel like the idea of the back and forth and for content reasons and for for engagement reasons, because it obviously gets people excited, but I want it all to be, I want stuff to be good. I want it to be, I don't want it to be petty like this. This is not 1989 1990. It's not, this is not Michael Eisner and Jay Stein anymore. This is not that kind of stuff. We have to kind of be like, I feel like Epic Universe can be the next standard. It can be the next thing to get Disney, like light a fire up Disney's ass and say, oh yeah, we actually have to do something now. Okay, let's stop doing blue sky announcements. Let's start doing that. Like please, let's just build something cool. Just trust in an idea. And yeah, you know what? Some people aren't going to like it. That's okay. Some people are not liking some of the stuff at Epic Universe. Like, oh, why are we doing Wizarding World again? Oh, why are we doing Dragons? You have to at a point just go, we have to make this thing. This is the idea. This is what got approved. So this is what's happening. If you don't like it, you can go to another park. Anyway, didn't mean to get on a rant like that. But Backlog Builder, you have a question here, but I want to read some of these comments. I love the Disney park so much, but Universal's going hardcore. Yeah, I haven't brought Disney, so we can appreciate Universal's standalone. Personally, like, okay, I don't want to offend people, but people from Disney are less open to the idea of exploring other parks. That is another characteristic of it, and I think that's and I don't think necessarily I don't think you're necessarily offending people, but I do think, because I mean, for me, I'm just going to tell it how it is. I used to go to Universal on like family trips and like with family and maybe with friends if they had passes and if I had a ticket or something. I didn't have a pass until 2019. It's when I got my pass. So I was 16, 17, whenever. Like, I don't know, I'm young now, so don't know how to say it. But anyway, yeah, I was older. I was a teenager. I wasn't like a kid, right? So I didn't grow up with Universal. I grew up with Disney. And I remember looking at Universal going, oh, Universal. Oh, Universal can't touch Disney. And I was in that mindset until I actually went to the park, like with an older perspective versus like being, again, a kid that's only going to Disney. So like going, and obviously I love it. I make videos on it. But the idea of like you stepping out, and I mean, like, it's with other parks too. Like, I like SeaWorld Orlando. I know that's kind of controversial, but I mean, I like the rides at SeaWorld. I like Howl-O-Scream was a lot of fun. It was my first time back at SeaWorld really in like 6, 7, 8 years, something like that. And I was like, it was a lot of fun. I want to go back. Like I enjoyed that park, but it's like, I want to branch out. I want to branch out. And I know a lot of people don't want to branch out. So a lot of people want to stick with Disney and they want to then use that to mobilize some kind of petty arguments against other parks. Oh, they're not like this. They're not like this. Listen, Disney ain't what it used to be either. So let's just keep it honest. Anyway, another rant. Y'all are getting me ranting. Let's go back up to this question. What is your plan of attack based on your first visit, based on the info we have currently? What land first? What ride first? That is a hard one. I mean, technically, we're going to go into Celestial Park first. But if I'm talking about lands, I mean, if ticketing and reservations and anything is not an option, crowds, if it was just me in the park, where I would go first, Dark Universe, and I'd go on that ride. But realistically, it's probably still going to be Dark Universe and that ride, just because I have to see that. Like, I feel like I have to see it. I have to get that reveal. That castle looks phenomenal. It looks beautiful. But yeah, let me know in the chat. What would you saying is like your plan of attack on first visit? I'm curious because I want to know. I want to get some opinions out here. Disney shouldn't tell us something until they know it's happening. That's right. Universal doesn't normally tell us what new attractions is coming together and being constructed. Yeah, and that's something that I think that it makes almost like this, like realistically, they put a lot of effort into the announcement for Epic that I feel like, because it could have just been, because all the rumors, right, where it was like everything was already rumored. There weren't a whole lot of surprises, right? But I think they changed. I think they changed the direction and sort of making it almost like this celebration of Universal, and then they say, okay, here's the next thing. And I think that that's so smart. It kind of justifies like the idea that like technically, we've already kind of seen this happen. So that's what I wondered, like, with an Epic announcement, is it going to really have the same hit? Will it hit the same? And with the way they did it, for sure. And I mean, even getting new concept art was also fun. So I think that Universal being like doing this is a lot of. I think they have the right direction, and I would love Disney to get on that direction. That's what I'm saying. By the way, that ET shirt, thank you. This shirt is actually was from the park. I don't know why I held it like that. This is from the parks for the 40th anniversary. I would love if they made an ET Adventure shirt. Guys, please make some ET Adventure official merch. They haven't done so in many years. That says ET Adventure on it with Botanicus right here. I'm stuck between everything and Epic. I think the merch shop. Now that's the right idea, because there's gonna be some limited edition merch. You already bet. I mean, I know. So I saw yesterday, Universal is doing. Also, if you see my tongue spool, I'm drinking Gatorade because I need to at least keep drinking something because I'm just talking. But no, I saw they made that announcement for Super Nintendo World first anniversary, and it was so funny because I was like, I saw and that's literally the day we're going, by the way. It's that first anniversary. Didn't plan it like that. It was just happened to be. And I saw that gold power-up band. I almost called it a magic band, but it's like the power up, the little beeping, like the little thing you can use in the land. And I was like, well, I'm gonna get one anyway. But then I was thinking, like, I would have to buy that. That would have to be the first thing I do, because that is going to sell out. Like, that is going to be insane. So I'm thinking, what Epic Universe, like what kind of merch? I mean, I'm surprised the shirts didn't already sell out, the ones they're selling on the website right now. And I want to see if they sell one of the towers that they sent the media guests. Those towers, I have a feeling they're going to sell those. I have a feeling those are going to get sold in the park, because that's money on the table. Everybody would buy those. Yeah. Donkey Kong or Dark Universe. Donkey Kong, it looks like a lot of fun. I want to hear more about it. I want to see more about it and get some more information once Japan's opens. But for sure, that looks like a lot of fun. Has anyone seen that video of the Imagineer claiming no one will touch Disney after the announcement? Bad luck for the mouse. Yeah, for sure. I mean, that was circulating around Twitter. I did see it, and I do think that. I mean, that was back in, I believe, 2013. But I believe it's aged pretty poorly. Definitely. Hobbies in Universal. Anxious to see how Donkey Kong is. Yeah, you gotta let me know how Donkey Kong is. You gotta let me know how Donkey Kong is, because I do want to get some opinions on that. And see, I want to see it before Epic Universe opens. If I ever get a chance to go, I go to Dark Universe last, mainly because it's darker than nighttime ambience. I like how you think, Harry, because yeah, I guess going into Dark Universe first, it might honestly, I don't know if it'll spoil it, because for me, okay, there's a few lands in all the theme parks in Disney, Walt Disney World, Universal, that have this electric atmosphere at night. Like, I mean, Pandora's one. I mean, I think Pandora looks great during night and during the day. Tomorrowland here in Florida definitely looks great at night. I mean, Tron, beautiful at night. And then I think a lot of the areas in Hollywood studios, like the Sunset Boulevard, looks beautiful at night. So I wonder how this will transform at night. I have a feeling there are going to be some really advanced effects. I don't think it'll just be they put some lighting up. I think it'll be really, I think they're going to use that ambiance to create something cool. So I do think, Harry, that might have to be the move. I might have to head somewhere else first. Maybe Ministry of Magic. I cannot wait for the Untrainable show. Me too. I honestly had never seen it in full until I was making the Future of Universal video, and I watched it because I was gathering clips to like put in the show, and I saw the sort of pre trailer that they had released. Universal had put out, and then I was like, well, let me just watch this whole show, because if this is going to come to Epic Universe, I got to check it out. And yeah, I was not disappointed. Definitely one of the best. Universal, I will say, Disney has a lot of great rides, has a lot of great dark rides, and coasters are fun and well themed. Universal kills it with the stunt shows. Universal has the best stunt shows, and I would say just live shows in general, because I love stuff like the horror makeup show. But you have the 3, Waterworld in California, Born in Universal Studios, and Untrainable at Epic. Come on. You know what I'm saying? Like these world-class, best on their league shows. You know? Like, okay, let's go. I know this was wishful thinking, but wouldn't it be cool if Dark Universe sold a band of some sort where you can hunt monsters? That's interesting. Because I wonder, because that's one thing I'm curious, because like Super Nintendo World, right? You have the merch. We already know what the merch is over in Super Nintendo World. The big thing is the bands. Ministry of Magic, they have the wands. I imagine they're going to do some kind of like almost like a adopt like how they had the Banshees at Animal Kingdom in Pandora, where you can adopt a little critter and it can sit on your shoulder, and it's like a whole thing. I have a feeling they're going to have to do that for Dragon, right? You can adopt a dragon and carry it around. That might be the specialty merch, but what's the specialty merch of monsters? Obviously they're going to have like t-shirts and stuff, but like make something cool like that. I think that could be a lot of fun. Maybe like some kind of weapon, like a monster weapon that's almost like maybe like a Galaxy's Edge where you can forge it and create it. But that idea too, definitely have like a monster band or some kind of trinket. If y'all have seen the Werewolf by Night, the Marvel presentation show, little short film, the Bloodstone, which is like this like relic that has like this really cool power. And I feel like if you had that, or like going back to theme parks, like Not Scary Farm, the lantern, like creating something like that can interact with the land. You pay a flat fee of like what, $60, $70 or whatever, however big the item is, whatever it is, and you can use that to interact with the land. I feel like that could be really cool. Maybe a lantern, maybe do like that kind of style, like the Not Scary Farm lantern. Miss Beetlejuice. When I was a kid, when I did go to Universal, Beetlejuice was it. That was like the one thing that I was like super into. I loved that show a lot. I used to go to that show pretty much every time we went to the park. I miss it a lot. I would love Beetlejuice. I would love Beetlejuice to have a dark ride. That would be the one, like, if you were to like pitch like a handful of ideas, and if third parties were not, because that's like the thing, right? Beetlejuice is a third party. If third parties were not an option, Beetlejuice dark ride for sure. The dragon drones are also exciting. I need to see some flying dragons. They need to fulfill. They said flying dragons. I think they said flying dragons in the press release. Now people can interpret that as like you get on a dragon and fly, but I think that also means there are going to be dragons flying around. Maybe they do it like Galaxy's Edge, where they have the sound effects, sort of like dragon, roaring over you, like it feels like they're flying maybe when they're not, and then they at the same time have some kind of effect where they have real dragons or maquettes or something flying around. I don't know. Lots of potential with that. Definitely going to be interesting with the Florida weather, though. With the Florida weather and the rain, I wonder how that will be impacted. That's another thing too, is like thinking about, because like you think about these parks, right? Like they've existed for so long, they have all these protocols, but I wonder what the protocols are for Epic Universe, like for rain and stuff like that. Like because Celestial Park looks very open, Ministry of Magic. I mean, all the lands look like super open. Like it looks like if it's gonna rain, you're kind of tough luck, because it's like find somewhere under shade, go inside of a restaurant or a gift shop or something, because there's not like an area to sort of like get away from it. I guess it's kind of how the parks are normally, but I've been hearing people talking about pass holder previews. Any offensive EU have a pass holder preview? I don't think so. I don't think they're going to have any kind of previews. I think that they will. I don't even think they're going to soft open. I don't think they want to do that. I think they're going to have a day where it'll be open and you'll have to make a reservation. That's my thought. You'll have to make a reservation and you'll have to, it'll be like a whole thing. I don't want, I kind of want that. I want that, opening day of a brand new park experience. I don't want it to be like, oh, pass holder preview, you just walk in, and I think they're also going to try to control, talking about, because I'm a content creator, I make videos. So thinking about what's the policy of filming going to be, what's their deal? Are they going to have a media day where they're going to invite maybe the people that received the little Kronos Tower and they invite them to say, okay, you guys can cover everything? Or if it's just going to kind of be like how Horror Nights does it, where they film like everybody else. They don't get an early preview. They just get to come in with everybody else. Maybe they get a VIP tour, but they don't get early access. I don't think anybody's getting early access to this. I think Universal wants to hold this on until it opens. I've been worried about it not being an add-on for pass holders within the first 2 months or year. I wonder if it'll be an option where you can have the first 2 parks. That is an interesting one. That is definitely an interesting one, and I think that will be answered at some point. But I do think that does raise a little bit of curiosity and a little bit of I don't want to say upset feelings, but the idea of worry. Because for me, I don't want to have to buy a single ticket every single time I go to the park. I would love to just be able to add it onto my pass and not have to worry about having to pay $150, $200 every single time, obviously. I just don't see a world where they do this, because I think it would just be too easy for the park to fill up unless they were to do capacity by way of reservations. I think that's really the only way, is if they add it to the pass. I think they're going to have to add reservations. I think, or if they don't, it's one or the other, I think. Or they do both. They don't have any passes and they have reservations. That's the worst ending. Hey, Curtis. Hello. Welcome to the stream. I plan on going probably until 9. I think I'm going to go until 9 on the stream. So still have a half hour, because I like the conversation. We got a lot of voices in the chat, so we love that. I'm shaking at the thought of the price. I know that's the dangerous thing, because Universal passes are already getting expensive, and that's the worry, and that's something that I briefly touched on in the video. I worry that it's going to get too out of touch, but I don't think it will, because I think Disney's already done that, and it's already kind of it's already gotten a lot of flack. Right, it's going to be expensive because Universal is also a company, and they are making profit, and they are a big company, so they're going to want to make the most profit as possible. But I think that it's not a name your price situation. I think there's a lot of people that are doing it, and a lot of people that are want to do it. So I think that I think it's going to be expensive, but I don't know what the extent of it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be completely out of range, because I feel like they would just alienate themselves. I'm excited they're building a new theme park, Epic Universe. Yes, we've been talking about Epic Universe, all kinds of stuff. So if you have any thoughts, opinions, questions, anything about Epic Universe that you think, let me know. Let us know. Let us get headed out. Great stream. Queso Quackers, thank you for hanging out. If you are leaving, thank you so much for being active in the chat. That's awesome. Have a good one. Have you heard the rumors of a UK Universal Park? Now, this one is one that I debated what I was going to say about it, because I want to appreciate the work that Alicia Stella, Theme Park Stop, has been putting in this whole time, really, with this park. Basically, kind of breaking the news to everybody that it was happening, and then it being this whole thing that's kind of ballooned. They said we got land. They don't know what they're going to do with it yet. By the end of the year, or later on in the year, or next year, we're going to know what they're going to do. But I think there's so many possibilities of what they could do. That's a whole thing. And I hope if we do get that announced, they say, hey, we're building a park. That's a whole stream in itself. What comes to that park, what doesn't. And it does a lot of exciting things, a lot of interesting things. I'm not a UK resident, So that's not my side of the world. So I'm curious how people that live maybe near there or what have you, how they sort of respond to the sort of Epic Universe, not Epic Universe, new Universal Park. Sorry, still in Epic Universe. New Universal Park. What's the scale? Do they do it like Beijing or like Singapore, where they take the greatest hits, things like Nintendo, things like Harry Potter, things like Jurassic World and stuff like that? Or do they do all new stuff? Definitely lots to talk about there. But I have a couple other messages here. My favorite place is the Portal in Dark Universe, Universal Monsters Dracula. Yeah, definitely. I mean, we love the Universal Monsters. Super excited. I know you mentioned the Wolfman is coming out in October. That movie, I do think, I think it's could be in the running for maybe something at HHN because it is a Blumhouse. I know they did Invisible Man, but of course that was in 2020 and HHN didn't happen that year. So maybe we could have seen something from that. But I think the Wolfman's a lot easier to market. And they did when they did the remake of the Wolfman back in 2010. They had a house at HHN. That was the Usher's year. House in 19, and then I think the movie came out the year after. So yeah, let's go back up. Like I don't want to cause competition, but it's real and the park has unique experiences. But I hope it makes Disney Paris Resort, Disneyland Paris, I want for its money for the better, As I said before, Disney Universal, two completely different brands when it comes to their content, and this whole special event park, Disney will always have the crowd. I think that's true. I think if the UK thing, it'll give people another option. I think that's definitely the best part about it is it kind of gives an option. Yeah, kind of going to backlog builder, like competitive, keep it. Yes, Harry, we were waiting on you to come back because we were talking about GB. But yeah, we win as fans when they compete, when these stuff happens, when big stuff gets announced, big stuff, big new things happen. We all win at the end of the day because we get the cool rides, we get the cool experiences, and it makes it more accessible to like if someone who lives in the UK or lives in Europe to travel to America is like, it's not and same thing for like us. Like obviously to go to something like, I think about everybody wants to go to Tokyo Disney. I'm like, I don't know when I'm going to be able to go to Tokyo Disney, but it's cool. Going back, Halloween Hornets in Dark Universe, I don't think so. We already kind of talked about it a little bit. I don't think Halloween Hornets is going to be in Dark Universe. I do think they will do a tie, maybe with a new house this year or next year, but I don't think they'll have it in the park in Epic Universe just because of the way it's laid out and stuff. So going back to Great Britain and to that park, it's curious to me because I wonder how much of that park will be, again, the greatest hits of Universal. So like bringing, let's say, the Jurassic World ride from Beijing. That's a ride that I would love to have. I don't know if they have the same kind of contracts like how Disney does, where the international parks can't build certain like Mystic Manor over in Hong Kong can't be built over here, or whatever. Like certain rides have like a license, have like kind of a copyright agreement. Like you can't build them in different Disney parks. But I'm curious with that aspect if that's with Universal. So like, could they bring the Universal or the Jurassic World adventure ride from Beijing? Could they bring obviously stuff from America over? I don't know. It's really curious. What happened to Disney Park? Nothing happened. I think we're just more kind of chatting about the idea of like Universal versus Disney and the idea of like we all kind of win at the end of the day when they fight. Really, I mean, not really fighting. I mean, because they're both raking in tons of money, so it's like they're still making money. People are still going to go to the parks. Disney people are going to be Disney people. But I have noticed Disney people have been looking at Universal, and I'm seeing it on YouTube with some other creators. A lot of Disney channels have been pivoting to Universal or like other theme park stuff. So I don't know. Universal's gaining steam, but they will never shut Disney down. So Harry, I want to ask what you think. Like, would you want to see a Wizarding World at the Universal Park if the park happens? Would you want to see that there, because I know that's a kind of a common topic, is like, well, they have a lot of Harry Potter stuff. Obviously, I believe they have like this, like a studio, like a tour situation, like a World of Harry Potter, where they sell. I know they sell similar merchandise, and it's kind of a more of like the movie experience, but it's kind of on the same level of like theming wise, like it's pretty accurate to the film. I don't know. That's from what I've seen and from what I remember. But yeah, I wonder what's the sort of consensus if they do, let's say if they were to bring Harry Potter, or should they use maybe another property that they're not using in America? Because I feel like if you were to do like I feel like you could have the opportunity, if you're going into a completely new market, to like do something completely new, like not just retread the same IPs. Like for me, I'm like, okay, imagine, and I say this for Epic Universe too, is like, imagine if Universal was to revisit Back to the Future and give Back to the Future a whole land and dig up that franchise and say, we're not just going to do a simulator, we're going to do a full land, dining, shopping. You can go on a ride, it can be a whole thing, and you can go to the clock tower, and it's like this whole experience, right? What's the sort of situation with that? Like, can you do something like that? Like, or like a new Jaws ride, or a new ET, like do another ET ride. Like, I don't know, like, because it's popular enough. I don't know what the demographics are like, but I'm just saying in general, like if you do these new parks, what's going to happen? Like, what could you do? What's the possibility? Okay, we're going up back. Disney always have classic. Universal had classics. Universal is not afraid to change stuff up, and I think that kind of made people upset for such a long time. But I think they're kind of rooting themselves. They know what they have. They know what DreamWorks, Illumination, Jurassic World, or Jurassic Park, Harry Potter. I don't know. I would have my fingers. Harry Potter, Nintendo. Those are like the big ones, right? I think it's in Minions. Illumination, I think I said that. Those are like the big IPs they have that they want to use. They want to keep making projects for, and then they have other stuff. But like, those big 5 or 6 IPs are the ones they're going to go with. So I think that's going to they were like that, but I don't think they're like that anymore. I think they realize how popular they are. Nintendo should be here 100%. I'm not saying because I like Nintendo, but it's huge. Oh yeah, Nintendo for sure. If they build a park like that, oh, Nintendo's coming. Nintendo is the new Potter. I mean, I think that's the case. Look at how they're doing in Hollywood. I know we had Hollywood people in here that they have Hollywood Nintendo everywhere in Hollywood. So definitely. I made a video you're gonna love on my channel. I'll have to check it out when we're on the stream. Check out the new video. I'm considering Minions is most popular IP. I'm surprised there isn't no Minions in Epic Universe. I think that's just because they just opened Minion Land here in Universal already. Because I just don't see the extension of Minions. I think that might have been something that was considered. I know when they first announced Epic Universe, they said Illumination properties and DreamWorks properties. Obviously, we have How to Train Your Dragon, but like having Illumination most likely means Minions. But I think they may have allocated that to Universal Florida and realized, hey, we already have a Minion right here. We have this Shrek building we're not going to really be using. We have this Monsters Cafe that unfortunately had to close. Anyway, but yeah, we have these buildings. So I figured they wanted to just change that and use it here and make it a little smaller scale. So that's probably why there's no Minions in Epic Universe, and I don't think there will be. I wish we had DC Comics instead of Potter. I've toyed around with a video of like, should DC Comics come to the parks, come back to the parks, actually make it to the parks, because that's a whole thing in itself. The fact that DC almost had Marvel's spot. And I mean, I would love that, not necessarily to really give Marvel to Disney. I think I like Avengers Campus. I like the idea of it, but it's taken them a little long to even kind of announce what the big ride is. And I like that Universal has Marvel because they have these great attractions. I mean, Spider-Man, come on, it's a classic. I'm not a big fan of Hulk personally, but I love Spider-Man. But I appreciate Hulk for the coaster it is. It's very popular. But DC, so much potential. Batman, Superman, Justice League, the weird characters. You could do so much with DC. So I would love if they did it. If there was ever some kind of partnership with Warner Brothers, like extended or something like that, DC would be something that I would absolutely latch on to. I love DC Comics. Rumor is Universal sells more Nintendo merch than Potter. Yeah, that's from what I've heard. That seems to be true. That's the rumor that I've heard. Because I think that's for right now, though, because I wonder. I mean, I guess if it's already selling more than Potter, I wonder if it was selling more than Potter at its peak, because Potter is already kind of like dwindled. You know, like it's been around for 10 years, or not even 10. Oh my God, it's almost been 15 years since Harry Potter came to the parks. Wow. Next year will be 15 years since Harry Potter came to the parks. It's crazy. But, you know what I'm saying? Like a decade and a half of Harry Potter, we've seen, you know, the same wands, the same robes. So people that are on repeat visits are not going to buy. But Nintendo, there's so much Nintendo merch, and there's only going to be more. So I believe it. I believe it. It's the hot thing right now. Okay, Harry, you talked about Lord of the Rings. I don't know if you were here for when we were talking about Lord of the Rings extensively, but we did talk about Lord of the Rings and my theory of what it should be an Islands Adventure. But 007, that's an interesting. I mean, I think 007 would be great for like a ride, or if they were to do like a international, like, hear me out, do like some kind of like if you were to do almost like a smaller world showcase, like maybe a Europe. If it's in Great Britain, maybe a little European section. I know it's probably like it's like when they built California Adventure in California. It's like you don't want to see that because that's like literally right outside your door. But that would be the kind of place that I could see them building like a James Bond roller coaster, like a car ride, a rock and roller coaster type with the Aston Martin. I don't know. Yeah, something that's tied to Britain, tied to big movies. I feel like, yeah, so much of Bond. I mean, Bond could make a really fun little land, but little small area, or like almost do like a making of the movies. Like have, you know, maybe if you have like a roller coaster, maybe your queue can be like posters of all the James Bond movies, and you know, with Sean Connery and Roger Moore and Timothy Dalton and stuff like that. Like you have this what do you call it? Like almost like Fallon, where you have like the celebration of the subject. I don't know. Go back. Kimi Dog, you should go for it. Go for it. Make a video. Check it out, because I mean, you know, you're only one video away from you know. Yeah, just make a video. Make a video. If you feel like making a video, make a video. Not exposing any political views based on JK's comments of decade-old franchise Harry Potter slowly dying. Nintendo has always been a thing. Yeah. Also, I consider, even outside of that, Nintendo is essentially, like, we talk a lot about Disney, but Nintendo is essentially the Disney of video games. I feel like with the characters, in terms of like having this, like, first of all, Nintendo is very protective over their characters, and they have such these iconic characters like Mario, Link, Donkey Kong. I mean, just the entire Mario universe, Legend of Zelda, Kirby. I think that's Nintendo officially, and Pokemon. I mean, come on, like so many character potential, and some of the most iconic video game characters in the world, point blank, period. So yeah, no, I think Nintendo is hot because it is the big thing, and Potter being its own thing, and you know, being all of the situation that has been going on with it over the past like decade, I think it's time for a new big franchise. But I think Potter will always still be popular. I think it'll still be popular, but I don't know if it'll be the popular one. Like I think Super Nintendo World will be the most popular land at Epic Universe for sure. My new video is called "Is it going to be another Warner Bros. Theme park in Las Vegas?" Okay, I'll check that out. You put that in the chat, and I was wondering if you were asking. But no, I'll check that video out. If I had to take a guess as to properties, I'd say Lord of the Rings, Minions for the moms and kids, of course. Minions, everybody loves the Minions. Nintendo and 007, Doctor Who be perfect, but due to Disney, that won't happen. I think that's a pretty solid lineup. I wouldn't be surprised if they put Jurassic World, because I feel like that's also such a popular one, and you could do that so many different ways. And yeah, I think Minions for sure, Nintendo for sure. Jurassic World would be another good, like those would be good, like Universal, like those scream Universal. And then the other ones could be, in addition to, here are some exclusives, you know. James Bond stunt show, exactly. Like kind of that style, like a roller coaster, or something, some kind of ride. I would like to hear your take on Toon Laguna Islands Adventure. Do you think it will replace with different IP? Yeah, I think. Oh, okay? Sorry, I misread that because it says Zelda and Lost City. Yes, I think that's happening. I think Zelda's for sure. If they don't put an Epic Universe in the expansion plot, it's definitely coming to Islands, and I think they want to because I feel like they want to do what they did with Potter, and they want to put Nintendo in every park. So they have the big Nintendo World in Epic, something coming to studios, maybe replacing some little yellow family that is on their way out the door, and then replacing the Greek god of Poseidon who was there. But I don't know if Tolkien Estate will. Oh, sorry. Going back to. Sorry, I almost skipped over Toon Lagoon. I need to talk about Toon Lagoon. See, that's where I would have put a DreamWorks Land personally. I know that Kid Zone needed it, but I think that DreamWorks could have had so much more room. Retheme those 2 water rides, or you can maybe get rid of one of them. I know people love those water rides, but I think Popeye's a little harder because of the way it's like integrated with the lagoon and sort of that area. So I think that if you were to get rid of, like, let's say Dudley Do Right and keep Popeye, retheme it to something, you could put a troll show in the stage. Trolls can be that front end of the park. You can move in, maybe you have a Shrek section, and then maybe you have a Kung Fu Panda section, kind of like how they're doing it in studios. So doing something like that, like keeping that, I would have loved that. I don't know if they're going to do that. I know I've also said I'm someone who's like, Toon Lagoon's fun, and I know a lot of people love it. I know a lot of fans love it. It almost reminds me of like Dino Land, where like a lot of fans love it, but like general public, like I don't think they really care that much. But yeah, I think that if they do replace it, definitely will be an IP. I don't know what IP it could be though. Okay, Curtis talking about Jurassic World. The ride is great. Oh yeah, the one in Hollywood. If that's the one you're referring to, I'll have to see. And then Men in Black. Yeah, we love Men in Black. Men in Black's awesome. Awesome ride. I don't know if the Tolkien Estate would sign on for a theme park. That's an interesting one. I want to go back to that because I almost went there straight away because that did catch my attention. I've always said this because I'm like, I feel like Lord of the Rings is it's a very finicky property. I feel like there's a lot of ways to get it wrong because it is a very distinct feel and it's very old school. Like making it a movie was such a hard thing for so long, like to make it not cheesy, to make it fit the tone of the books. And I feel like they nailed it. Like those movies are great. Classics. Love those movies. But I feel like when they try too hard to make it like kind of like The Hobbit, like when they tried a little too hard, I feel like it kind of moved away. I mean, I don't hate the Hobbit movies, but they're not the same. Lord of the Rings is for sure better than The Hobbit, in my opinion, at least. So my point in saying that is that I feel like with theme parks, it's very difficult. It's very, very difficult, very finicky, and I think that maybe after we see Epic, maybe it can be almost like a Seuss situation where we see like, oh, maybe they approach Tolkien now and the Tolkien Estate now, and they're like, hey, here's what we got, here's what we could do, and then maybe it'll be a turnaround. Like, okay, we will want to work. But I also kind of agree with you. I don't know if Tolkien's like the estate will want to sign on. Yeah, so I'm going to be on for probably another 10, 15 minutes or so. So if anybody has any last minute questions, comments, thoughts, and opinions, leave them down here. While I have some people in here, I do want to talk about some things that are coming. For one, I talked about it before. I've alluded to it for some of the people who've been in the stream the whole time. Barrel House Boys podcast with me and Losh TV. That is a new thing that we just kind of launched, and we're putting stuff on the social medias. So I'm going to link all that stuff in the description below. After the stream, I'll link it and I'll put it all in there. And it'll be I'll put some links for it around because it's a fun time. We're talking a lot like this, like theme parks, H-Gen, stuff like that. That's coming. And then also, again, just thank y'all for 2K. I have some announcements coming in the near future. I'm just trying to tweak them. I was trying to make them forward to this live stream and like have them ready, but they're not quite ready yet. And I don't want to put it out there until I'm ready to put it out there. It's some big stuff for the channel, big new things, big new sort of avenues for the channel. So that's exciting, but I, again, didn't want to rush it. So Yeah, those are just a couple. I'm trying to think if I'm missing anything. New videos next week. It's a Mardi Gras week next week, so I'm gonna have a couple Mardi Gras videos, and then we're back to theme parks, and then it's California. So that's what's kind of the next few weeks on the docket. Okay, Backlog Builder has a sort of a response to that original comment. The only reason I say this is because they don't want to have a theme park at a Universal park that already uses Harry Potter and other fantasy. It's kind of what I was talking about before. Like, I think at Epic it's too similar. I think at Universal or Islands they could kind of get away with it. I think they can get away with it because there's like different enough stuff. But when you have Harry Potter and How to Train Your Dragon in one park, all right next to each other too. Like I feel like because you would have to put it in that side between Potter and Dragon, so you have to put it over there. So yeah, it's definitely gonna be, or I guess I would have to say over here if I'm looking on that side of the map. But yeah, no, I don't see them putting it in Epic, at least not right now, not for the far future, and that's a whole thing. It could be something to get excited about in the 2030s, like at the end of the decade. Or maybe they try it out in England first, and then see in the Great Britain park, and maybe they try it out there and then see what happens. And if it's successful, then they're like, hey, maybe we could do, or maybe it's an exclusive to get people to go there. Maybe. There are a lot of theme parks in places. That's true. I'd have to agree with that. No, I think the future is very bright, very, very bright for Universal. I think there is a lot to look forward to, and we're going to be covering it all. We're going to be talking about everything. I mean, every time they make a new Epic announcement, I know they had like this thing of like, we were doing these like drops, like we're going to drop every announcement, and that could be a whole video of like what that timeline is going to look like. What do we think? And that might be a video, may or may not be a video coming soon. Universal Kids Horror Unleashed, exactly, Curtis. Like things coming, like lots of stuff, and we're gonna be talking about it and covering it all. Like Universal has a very bright future, and not just in those in the existing parks, and of course with the events, Halloween Horror Nights. Yeah, we love Halloween Horror Nights. Mardi Gras, of course, Christmas and the holidays. Oh yeah, like all that stuff is super duper exciting, and I think that it is. I think it's something that I'm looking forward to. I hope you're looking forward to it. I hope you're looking forward to the videos that'll be coming, just in general. So, yeah. I don't know what else is. I don't have anything else to say right now. I'm trying to come up with it. That's one thing about these streams that's fun, but also like if I'm thinking, I'm like. I don't want to say anything wrong. I want to like say all the right things. I'm hopeful for this year. I get to share my toughs and the love for our theme parks. It's a New York sign for the future. Exactly. Even though I said the stream was supposed to be in January, it's not in January. It's February 2nd. It's fine. Yeah, it is essentially like the new year. And it's very, very exciting. Just want to say I'm a big fan of your channel. I found you actually when I got hired to work at HHN. I found a video talking about rumors, and I was hooked ever since. Looks forward to what's next. Yeah, definitely more HHN stuff. I don't know. I wonder. I'm curious because I feel like a lot of what I want to do with these streams is I want to make the streams kind of like the place to be for sort of the discussion around Halloween Hornets, because I feel like I could talk about sort of all different thoughts, and I can get people's opinions. I make the sort of speculation and thoughts and rumors and ideas videos, and I love talking with y'all in the comments, but I think it's also really fun to talk with y'all in here in the stream. So for sure. More Halloween Horror Nights stuff coming, and some history stuff. Like I said, I want to tailor the history towards what's actually coming to the event. I noticed that worked last year really well. A lot of people wanted to know about Dr. Oddfellow, the originals, and all that stuff. So you'll see. What have you guys covered so far? I'm going to be on here for a few more minutes. Sorry, El Chapman, I just joined. But we were mostly talking about Epic Universe, mostly talking about the new parks. And this stream will be available if you missed whatever, it'll be available to watch on the channel. So, but yeah. No, I want to do these streams more often. I hope these are good times. I know there's like people that can only come in for a certain while, and I get it. You know, not every time is going to be good for everybody. But I'm trying to do more streams. I want to do a lot more streams this year. And this is the first one of the year, so that's exciting. Halloween Horror Nights, scarier place I gather in Halloween Haunts, Hallow Scream Fright Fest. Yeah, I'm going to do more haunt stuff this year too. Hallow Scream for sure. I want to do some other haunt histories, things like Not Scary Farm. I want to do a video on the Warner Brothers haunt, like things like that. Like those things I want to talk about. I want to talk about Horror Nights and Universal, but I also want to branch out a little bit. Hyper, get rid of Supercharge. Yes, please. Please. Anyway, let's please get rid of Supercharge. Out of curiosity, what part of the country are you broadcasting from? This is the first time. I live in Orlando. I live in Florida. Conveniently, really close to Universal. So yeah. Me in general, look forward to all your future fits. Thank you for y'all y'all are the real ones who are here in the stream. Even if you're not in the stream, I'm not saying you don't. Yeah, I appreciate all of you who watch the channel. But especially those who watch to the end, watch every video, like those, like y'all really, I appreciate you guys so much. Because I have so many ideas that I'm like, is this gonna work? Are people gonna like this? And a lot of the times, y'all really show up, and that's really awesome. Years ago, House Scream had a house called the Alone House that was separate paid item probably 15 years ago. I'm not sure where they stopped that. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not too. That's the thing, as I am not nearly too well versed in Hallow Scream. It's definitely something that I am interested in, but I'm not like, I don't know too much about it yet. So I want to learn more about that. That seems really interesting. I wonder why they did stop that. All these Universal planes are really exciting. This comment right here, Harry. You're basically summarizing everything that I wanted to say, and I wanted to kind of press it for time, but basically I did want to talk. I wrote a part about this in the video, like the idea of like the Disney decade. I feel like there are parts of the Disney decade that were great. There are parts of the Disney decade that were not great, and I hope that Universal is more of the great stuff and less of the not great stuff. But yeah. I'm hoping it's all good. I'm hoping everything's good. I'm hoping we don't get any Fast and Furious supercharged rides. I'm hoping we just get good attractions. We get good stuff, and even if it's not like boom, 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 boom every year, I'm hoping they just deliver, and I have faith. I have faith that they will. Chemo Dog, yes, thank you. Thank you all for being in here and just for hanging out. I truly appreciate it. Maybe to Not Scary Farm. I love the cinema slasher. That house looks like a lot of fun. Definitely jealous for the people that went to Knott's last year, because that house looked like so much fun. And the Chilling Chambers too. That one looked like a lot of fun too. But yeah, I think I'm gonna head out because it is 9:00 here, and gotta edit. Actually, I have to edit. I have a video coming out on a Tuesday, a history video, Mardi Gras history video. So for those who don't know, here it is. But yeah, again, I've said it a million times. Thank y'all for being here. Another stream coming maybe before I go to California. That's what I'm trying to aim for. If I can't, I can't. But I'm going to definitely keep an eye on the community tab. Keep an eye on the community tab if you want to know about streams, if you want to know about future videos, anything. Keep an eye on the community tab, or if you're on Twitter, on X, whatever. I understand people will have different opinions on it. If you are on it, Dreamport Prods, it's all linked. It's always linked because I'm always on that app. I'm always tweeting. So, anyways, thank you all for being here. Thank you all for 2K. Appreciate it. And I'll see y'all next time. Take care, everybody. Good night. Or good morning, good day, if you're in different parts of the world. Anyway, see ya.